Be strong.
Hello, welcome to another episode on the True Blues podcast. Join us after our away trip to Crystal Palace and a wonderful performance from the Mighty Blues, 4-1 victory. It was such a good performance, Kieran, but I almost feel a little bit disappointed. It could have been better. It could have been, like, if this was throwing it back to Carlo Ancelotti's Chelsea, it would have been an 8-0 like against Wigan back in the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, oh God, I do love referencing that game. I love that you brought that up. That's one of my favourite games ever. We're just ruthless. Yeah, definitely. I feel like we lost a bit of spark when Jorginho came off. I thought he come off. I was just like, we're not really offering anything anymore. Now he's got, and me 2 weeks ago calling him Judas, and now I'm saying we're not offering anything without. I suppose Jesus did need 12 disciples, not just 11. So I guess we've got to put up a Judas for now. Yeah, overall it's pretty solid. Like, but you are right. Yeah, and Ancelotti Chelsea, hitting Chelsea. That's 7-8. Crystal Palace, they out full of crap. I thought the Benteke goal wasn't lucky, but
I think we're just way too good for them today, Jeff. That was one of my favourite performances I've seen, and I can't even remember just the way we moved the ball, one touch, mate. It was just pinging, wasn't it? It was pinging about.
Yeah, it was a very good performance. So good to see Pulisic obviously getting on the score sheet again. Like, as we spoke about a few weeks ago, like, how does he fit into our team? And apparently he's just by being the top goal scorer at a minute.
Yeah, he played well. But I think let's just jump straight into the player ratings that we've been doing the last couple of episodes. It's gone down quite nicely. Start with Edouard Mendy. We can't really talk about him. He conceded a goal which he couldn't do anything about. Other than that, he didn't have to make a save, if I'm correct. So he's got to be a 6 or a 7.
I wouldn't even say that. I'd say like a 5. He wasn't even really playing, was he?
No.
Like, no slight to him, but like the Benteke goal, and he just sort of looked at him and was like, all right, we're not going to lose. So like, it was no fault of his own. I just thought, yeah, it was a spectator game. He didn't have to do anything. So I was supposed to be a bit more generous because I do love the lad. And unfortunately, again, he's robbed of another clean sheet. So yeah, I give him a 6. Not much to say about him.
Dave, I thought Dave was quite solid today. Zaha's certainly in that pocket of his.
Oh God, yeah, he was fuming. It was my favourite part of the game to do with Dave was right at the end, like about 5 minutes to go. Zaha's just looked over at him over his shoulder, absolutely fuming. He's just had him in the pocket all day. I'd give Dave probably a 7.5 and 8. It wasn't like outstanding.
I was going to say 8.
What's that? Like, he just did a job. He tucked away their best player, their only real threat. Obviously, the IU made that good run early on, and he cut that out as well. I thought he was just good. He's just missed the consistent, as always, and he's just...
Yep, I'd agree. Probably same could be said for Kurt Zuma. He got a goal as well. So he's what we're looking at, Kurt. I mean, I slagged him off before the game. What on earth is he doing?
So did I.
And fair play to him, he scores a goal. I mean, to be fair, it might have actually been a good shout if Tuchel knew that they're going to have Benteke a bit of an aerial threat. Good to have a bit of physical presence in our defence rather than Christensen, who could be bullied. But I mean, someone got bullied. I'm not sure who it was. I think it was more Chill. It might have been Chilwell for the goal, but we'll come on to him in a minute. But yeah, I'd say 8.5. What are you saying about Kurt?
Yeah, I give him an 8.5. He got a goal. Obviously, we were slagging him at the start of the game. Like, you sent me a text like, "What, Kurt? Question mark. I was like, "No, mate. What fucking shambles." I think I replied to you, I don't think he wants to win today. And we pretty much had the game wrapped up in 10 minutes. It's just an 8. He was overall solid. It was a good goal. Like,
there was a bit I actually did like. I can't remember who it was. Might have even been Benteke or someone. And at the end, he just sort of like bodied him off the ball, and he was just, this fella just ended up face planted on the floor. And I was just like, that's the Kurt we know.
Sorry, mate. I'm still feeling the after effects of this gel vaccine. It's taken all the energy out of me. I've just had food as well. I'm fucked. Rudiger, what do you reckon?
But he had a solid game. I feel like he was potentially at fault for that Benteke goal. I know Chilwell should have been picking him up as well, but I don't know. When you've got 3 centre halves, it's surely the big man's got to take responsibility there.
Yeah, it's down to him and Zuma. You can't really stick Dave on Benteke, you get thrown all over the place, wouldn't he?
So then, based on that, I'm going to go Rudiger 7. Bit harsh, but he didn't have to do a lot, in all fairness to him, other than that. So 7 for him.
6.5, 7, I'd say. Yeah. Like, there wasn't much to say about him. He could have done better. He didn't really have much else to do after that. I didn't ever feel like it was sort of similar to the Porto game, where, like, because we were, like, the fullbacks were so good, like, it took so much pressure off people. I think as people were so commanding, just didn't really need Rudiger to do all that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Him and Chile could have done a little bit better. Shame, really, because obviously we'll get onto the wing backs in a sec, but Chile had such a good game in the week, and today
Yeah, sure. I know what you mean. I thought he played really well until he got into the final third. I thought his positioning was brilliant, his work rate up and down, but then his decision making in the final third. That's why he only gets a 7 for me, Chile.
Yeah, I got 6.5. I thought he was a bit shit today. Not shit, but like just in a game where he could really like solidified like that midweek performance, and like he's had quite a few good ones this year. He could really solidified that, and like you said, attacking third, his decision making's a bit off, but going forward, he's unreal. How many goals got this year? 4 or 5?
Yeah. So it's kind of a bit better than what he put in today, but I was sort of satisfied with how he did. He was a constant threat down that wing. I think he actually won the foul which Kurt Zuma scored from, actually, didn't he, as well?
Yes, sir.
So I was pretty chuffed with him. Other wing back, we got the Mr. CHO, who I think was similar boat. He got in some fantastic positions. I think his positioning and movement's getting better and better every game he plays. But unfortunately, his final ball was just pretty poor today, to be honest. There was one that he did which was really nice on like the half volley, but I don't know. I would have liked him to get the full 90 minutes. I thought, and with 3-1 up, 3-1 up when he came off. Would have liked to see him get 90 minutes, but I think Tommy T just doesn't really rate him that much defensively, which is fair enough. But he probably gets a 7 for me, CHO.
I'm gonna be a bit more harsh. I thought it was an easy game to not look like you've been exposed a bit, and I thought, look, there's nothing really you can say negative. We had a 4-1 win, a great win, especially with Liverpool robbing that game at the end of Trent. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Tommy's just not a big fan of him. I'd have preferred for him to play 90 minutes, not for his own sake, but just to rest Reece James. Like, there was no need to bring him on. Like, absolutely none. Like, he wasn't needed. He wasn't, like, we didn't need any additional attacking threats. We didn't need anybody additionally defensively. We could have just stuck with it and had just a set team, and then bring off players like Mount and like maybe Jorginho, bring Jorginho off and stuff like that to rest them for the midweek. But then also, I don't think Kante should have come on. But I thought Cal was just average. Like, he was just a player today. I do love him to death, but you can see why Tommy's probably.
Yeah, it's a tricky one though, because he's only going to get better by playing, though, isn't he, though, Jeff?
Yeah, well, I mean, I completely get what you mean. It's the first 3 or 4 games, he was one of our best players. Like, he fit into the system great. We could play him up in the front three, or we play him at wing back. But now I think people sort of figure him out that he's just like, he's going to run in, look like he's cutting in, and then he's going to bang it out wide and whip the ball in. And I think the best thing for Cal is when he plays with Giroud. I think that's the best for him. Like, the way he plays suits playing with Giroud, because Giroud will be the kind of player that will be in the box and be about and do all this stuff, like, to get in front of his defender and be physical. Whereas, like, we've got people like Havertz, Werner and stuff, they're not physical lads. Like, Havertz is massive, but like, he doesn't want any of that. He doesn't want any of that when people are coming at him. So I just think Cal was just like, I just need to see more from him, like, in the time he does get, because it's like Pulisic. Obviously we'll get on some later. He's banging goals in, so he's essentially saying you can't not pick me. Cal needs to do that if he wants to play, and he's competitive. He's not going to start over Reece James at right wing back, so he needs to go for those forward spots. So if Havertz and Werner and Ziyech and stuff aren't scoring, Cal needs to just fucking get a goal, and then he'll start up there.
Yeah.
Like it's like a revolving door up the front three. So he just needs to.
Yeah, so that's also another thing that I'm just going to pick up on what you said. Like Cal obviously should be playing in one of the forward positions. He's playing a wing back role, which fair play to him. He's adapted to that. I think actually pretty better than probably most other sort of, shall we say, wingers would, having to go and play wing back. I know, like you said, they were a sort of defensive team and it's pretty attacking. But I mean, he played fullback against Atletico Madrid, and he was superb that game as well. So in all fairness to the lad, young lad playing in a new position, I think he's done all right. That beer not taste good.
It was not as good as I thought it'd be. I'm just fucked, man. I'm like my whole like. I was completely off topic. I'm just like I'm too tired to enjoy it. It was fine, but I'm too tired to enjoy it. It was a late one last night as well, which wasn't good.
Do you have anything else to add on that?
Like, nah, move on from Calvert to midfield. I think it's time to talk about Judas himself.
Judas. Can't call him Judas after him. Him today. There was a point in the game. He was
class today.
Wasn't he? There was a point in the game where it's 30 minutes.
He looked like Fabregas.
Yeah, he did, mate. There was a point in the game where it was 30 minutes in, and he had more touches of the ball than the front four of Crystal Palace combined.
Who was it? Someone said to me the other day, mate, and I thought this is absolutely outrageous. They're like, Wilfred Zaha is the most underrated player in the Prem. I was like, what? I was like, if anything, everybody rates him, and then it comes to the big games and he shits himself. That's why United fired him out. Like, I thought Jorginho was unreal. He looked like Fabregas. That game against Burnley, the first game Fabregas played for us, where he was a different gravy. Like every time he got the ball, I was like, oh my God, we've never had anybody like this. Like the last time we had a player that would ping the ball around like that was Frank. He was unreal today. Like he really, it was like we said when he had that absolute shocker last week. We were like, what he's going to do now is we hate him again, and he's going to go back to being our best player. He was class in the week. He was by far, for me, obviously, you give the man of the match the player of the match. For me, outside of, I would say Pulisic would end up being my man of the match, but I think Jorginho was. I would give him, like, for me, I'm giving him an 8.5 or a 9. I thought he was unbelievable. Yeah. Like, he just bossed the whole midfield. Like, he was so composed, so cool, had loads of space, like, all the time. Like, there are only certain players in world football that, like, play consistently like he played today. He doesn't play consistently like that, but, like, there are a handful that I've seen that, like, create space. It feels like they're playing on their own. Like, at times, I don't know if you saw it the same way. It felt like in that midfield, he was on his own, just gliding around, picking out whatever pass he wanted. Nothing was off the menu for him today. Like, he was wherever he wanted the ball to go, was going.
In all fairness, Tim, even when he's playing pretty poorly, his movement is still, like, that's what I'm sort of trying to touch on. You were saying, like, his movement's still pretty good, the way he receives the ball. So even if he's playing badly, he opens up angles for other players to get involved in the game. And like you said today, mate, he was just superb. He really was. I'll probably agree with an 8.5. He was also probably my second choice of man of the match behind, but I'll go for Havertz. I thought Havertz was pretty cool today. I thought we'll get on to them in a minute, those two. But yeah, Jorginho, solid. I just hope he does it in the. Well, do you reckon he'll play against Porto?
Yeah, he should do, really. I think him and Kante will be in there. I think Kante getting a bit of a run out at the end of the game today really will mean he's going to start in the week.
That's what I was
thinking. Need him, really. We need someone to chase the ball down. And in fairness to Kovacic, he's put in a good shift when Kante's had quite a lot of injuries this year, and he's done his job off the bench and what have you. But I just feel like Kante is the best defensive midfield player in the world. So you've got to use him in big games. We've got quite a comfortable game. So we'll see. But yeah, Jorginho has to play. We just need that. We need what he did for Mount's goal. Bang into the feet. Like, we need that direct, I'm going to make something happen now kind of player in the midfield. Like, Kovacic and Kante aren't really like that. So we need someone, like, the only other player really we've got available, because for me, the rest of the people that I like that are all out on loan, and like Rubes, Ross Barkley, like they'd be players like that. Kante and Kovacic on like Billy Gilmour was the only one, but for me, I
was disappointed he didn't get one out today.
He should have done, really, but he won't get one in the week. He won't play against Porto. He's just not good enough, is he? Not now anyway. Not at the minute. He's
I
still
know.
got
I
loads of
know.
time to improve as a kid.
I'm a big fan of his. To be fair, I think he should play for us for the rest of his career. I think he's that good. But I'll tell you what. Just to round up on Jorginho, the reason why he was also so good today was just defensively. He didn't put a foot wrong. Surprisingly.
Today, yeah. I'm like, just thinking about it now. I'm like, madness.
Yeah, mate. There was a tackle he did on Wilfred Zaha in the first half where he just crunched him, came out with the ball. I was like, I've never seen Jorginho do that before. Genuinely, I don't think I ever have. Proper slide tackle, when he goes, wins the ball, starts again. Brilliant.
Yeah. Almost as good as the Billy Gilmore one a couple of weeks ago, where he slide tackle and tried to play well. The pass after was shite. He tried his best. It was good. He put an effort in defensively today. I think that was the biggest difference maker in his game, and I think that's why I've got him up there as one of my higher rated players in the match. Is he put an effort in? Like, he's guilty so often of just not bothering. Like, especially when he plays with Kante, he's so guilty of just being he does the job of 3 centre mids on his own. So I'm just going to stand here and pretend that I'm going to do something. Like, there's been so many times where he'd stick a leg out or do something, and I'll be like, whatever. Like, okay, just stand there. But today he put an effort in. I think he sort of knew he was massively at fault. I mean, the media didn't exactly keep it quiet about how much of a shithouse performance he had. Not just our 45-minute rage fest last week, and it was pretty much all my anger towards everybody was just centered from what Jorginho did for the whole week. But I think he's making up for it. He's slightly moving into that category of a bit of he's got the potential to be like a Branislav Ivanovic for us. Like, he's not one of those where you scream and shout about him every game, but it's he loves Chelsea, don't he? He just loves us.
I think he does, mate. I think you're actually right, mate. I think you're right. Moving on to our next centre mid, Kovacic, 7 for me. Just pretty ordinary, did his job, did what he had to do. I think, like we said, Jorginho was so good, he didn't really have to do that much.
Yeah, he was just standard.
There's nothing else to add on him. He just did his business, didn't he?
Yeah, he just did Kovacic things. He just did everything pretty well. Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Just Kovacic.
I think that's the quickest one we're ever going to do. Moving on.
That's literally what he is. He's just overall, he's just a 7.
Yeah, he's usually a pretty good carrier of the ball. But just Mount and Havertz's movement today, he just didn't even have to carry the ball, so did he?
Havertz was class today. I think that's the best game he's had for us. I thought Everton was up there. Havertz is I suppose that's a good place to start. Got a goal.
Yeah.
Class. He was just good. He looked confident. He looked composed. Shame, really, because I would have really wanted Timo to have a game like that today. Get a goal, just do a lot. Yeah. But we'll take it. Kai was good. Obviously, kicked us off a good start of the game, and overall his movement was brilliant. He carried the ball well. He was always looking up, looking to punish Crystal Palace when he could. He wasn't as timid as I've seen him previously. A lot of times I've seen him just be a bit sheepish on the ball, oh God, what am I doing? Or he makes lazy runs. It looks like he's making a run, but he's not really, is he? He's just sort of looking like he ends up there.
I know what you mean. Today, it was good, wasn't it? Very good.
Different player. He looked motivated, he looked hungry, he looked like he wanted it more than anybody else from the start. I think Pulisic only for grabbing a second goal is the only reason that I would give it to him over Havertz. But yeah, I give Havertz an 8.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm probably gonna. So I gave Jorginho an 8.5. I'll probably have to give Havertz the same, just on the basis of he missed 2 chances. If he hadn't missed them, he definitely would have got a 9 for me. But mate, he was really just classy Kai today. It's just his first touch, even if he's playing badly, he's magnificent. Let alone today when he was on it. Mate, I messaged him. I was like, mate, that was literally that could have been Gascoigne versus Scotland. The way he just first touch flicked it over the defender, and then he volleyed it. I was like, oh my God, mate! It just shows what he's capable of, and why we sort of paid that sort of money for him. Mate,
you want to see it more often now.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. Which I think we will. He's still young, so you can. The way he plays, you can tell he's still a boy. He gets bullied a little bit. Bless him.
He looked
young as well. He's younger than us, so
exactly,
like
mate.
that's what you got to think about. Like a lot of players, a lot of the expectations on people. Like Cal's younger than me. I think he might be almost the same age as you. Cal's younger than me. Reece is younger than me. Mace is younger than me. Tammy's younger than me. Like half my team is. Like, I think the only people. I think Timo's younger than me as well.
Yeah, mad. So really, I mean, Kai could have done with probably Timo scoring goals, and Timo could have done with Kai scoring goals, if that makes sense, just to take the pressure off each other. Really, unfortunately, neither of them have done well. But it's just, you know,
they haven't done well. They had lost the expectations at the start of the year. I think it's always the same thing with when another big Prem side are linked with a striker and he goes to somewhere else. It's like, well, he better score 40 goals, or he would score 40 at Liverpool. It's like, well, no, he wouldn't. I think he'd be worse off if he was playing in the full system now, because they have out and out goal scorers. Like he was brought in to be our out and out goal scorer, Timo.
Yeah.
Salah seems to score every game. Mane, for me, is top 3 player in the Prem. So
it's just funny, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? How they were like, when we signed him, they're like, how's Mount going to get in the team with Havertz? You know, and today Havertz had arguably his best game playing with Mount in that sort of front 3.
I think that is one of the better setups we can have. I think, like on their day, Havertz and Mount, the 2 10s, because that's natural for them. They're not the number 10s where they're just a playmaker. They will pass up an open shot. They'll go for goal. They'll grab it. Like Havertz scored loads of goals last season for Leverkusen. Mason Mount is like, he scored 3 games in a row, just coming up to this one, and obviously did manage to grab one today. But like, he's gone like 3 games of getting a goal. He's got 10 this season. They're players that suit it well, and I think that is just like perfect. And they're the player with pace up there. Like that's what they need. Havertz and Mount aren't slow, but they're not the paciest of people. And Pulisic's pace up there, it has allowed them, like, it gave them so much space. I think that's the way the team works well. We need to be wider with Giroud and narrow with like Werner and Pulisic and people like that, purely because that's how we benefit. It creates space for Jorginho to look for that extra pass, look for that killer pass. So yeah, overall, I'd say Havertz is an 8 for me, 8.5 for years.
When you think about it as well, it's just sort of thinking, Pulisic 22 years old, Mount 22 years old, Havertz 21, I think. That's just frightening that they're that young. They could be Chelsea players for 10 years still. It's mad, isn't it? And then you could add Cal in the mix. Cal must be about 20, 21. Ben Chilwell, left wing back. He's 23, 24. So sort of 5 attacking options today, all under the age of, shall we say, 24. Pretty mad, isn't it?
Yeah, we're typically quite an old side. We typically keep pretty old players on there. Jorginho is probably, after Dave was the oldest player on the pitch. He's 28. It's not really that old for a centre mid as well, and he's got no pace. So it's not like when he loses his pace, that's game over for us. That's us like done with him. Like Kante's 27, 20. Like we've got.
I think Kante's 30. To be fair.
But we've got a lot of our team now below the age of like 32, which normally is a bit of an issue. We've got like older players banged up. Thiago Silva was the oldest player in our team, and we have 4 other centre backs who are 28 and younger. Like Rudiger probably being the oldest. Zuma's been a youth player at Chelsea for about 6 years.
He's like that Napoli defender who looks 40 and is apparently 22.
Oh yeah, that kid. Yeah, it's brilliant, really, when you think about it with Zuma. It's like, oh yeah, he's got to get game time. He's got potential, and it's like he's like 27 now. Like potential's not really what we want to be talking about. We want to be talking about results. Like Sergio Ramos at 27 and we had won the La Liga about 4 times. Like. We don't need somebody who might be good in 4 years. If he's 31 by then, it'd be useless.
Yeah, mate. But when you think of it about how young our squad is, like all our good teams, like, well, even throwing it back since like the Jose Mourinho team, we never had like, our strikers were always sort of relatively experienced. Drogba came to Chelsea, 27? He was experienced. I know he struggled at first, but being about and done bits then. We've had Samuel Eto'o play. He's an old boy. Nicolas Anelka came to Chelsea relatively old, didn't he? So
Yeah, Shevchenko was in a spring chicken when we got hold of him.
Exactly.
He certainly didn't fucking play like a spring chicken either when we had him.
Torres wasn't young either, was he?
He wasn't necessarily, I wouldn't say he categorised the same way. He's a bit older. He's a bit younger than the rest of them, but his knees were definitely about 20 years older than everybody else.
Yeah. But like I said to someone the other day, like, doesn't matter with Torres how many goals he scored. He was brought in to help Chelsea win the Champions League, and he did that. So when you look at it like that, who cares?
He sealed the Barca game. And
Exactly.
he has like a mad amount of goals for us. I think he scored like 50 goals for us in the end. He did play like he had less goals for us in more games than he did for Liverpool, but he's different gravy at Liverpool. We got goals and production out of him. We just waited ages for it. That's why I'm not bothered about Timo, because like if Timo pops up, he's younger. He's got more. He's not lost his pace the same way Torres was losing his pace with us. That's why I'm fine with like the way things are going. He's unselfish. That is the best thing about it. The worst thing you can get with a misfiring striker is all they do is just shoot. Like, I need to score and shoot. His will be like, I'll just lay off to Mount. Mount's probably going to score. Lay it off to Ziyech. Just lay it off to Havertz. Sling it into Giroud. Like, that's the best thing about it. But, like, on the topic of Mason Mount, again today, just, wow.
Yeah, he was good.
I had a discussion with a friend of mine last night. He's a Man United fan. I guess the light again. A discussion and he said he doesn't rate Mason Mount. I was like, you must be on drugs. Like, there's no way. Like, there's only one or two young English players where I look at him and go, okay, they might be better than him, which is Rashford and Foden. I think that's it. He's better than Grealish. He's way better than Grealish. You know how I feel about Jack Grealish. I don't rate him at all.
Nothing to do with him turning down the Irish.
Funnily enough, I don't like Declan Rice either.
Not surprised.
Yeah, not even just for that. I just think like take them out of Aston Villa and West Ham. They're shit. They're just average players on good teams.
Quick question, bit off topic, but rank Declan Rice, Jack Grealish, and Thierry Henry in order of favourite to least like.
Declan Rice, I probably like the most. Grealish is the next best, and nobody in my life I will ever hate more than Thierry Henry. And that, not only that he's a cheating bastard, and also William Gallas. I don't know, he'll never see this, but you're a cunt as well for heading it in, and you're a scumbag for the way you left Chelsea. Sorry that we signed the best left back in the world, and you didn't fit in the team anymore, baby. Grow up.
I went to Arsenal as a defender more than number 10.
Yeah, and sat there on the pitch crying like a baby all the time, saying that he would deliberately lose games for Chelsea if he had to stay at the club.
Jesus.
So it's just like,
yeah, terrible.
I just hate him, and like he had it in, like Aidan McGeady did absolutely everything in those qualifiers for Henry just to fucking cheat, and we didn't go. And then they ended up finishing bottom of their group in the World Cup. They lost every game they played. Like, what was the point? He handballed it for everybody to go home. It was like Anelka got sent home by the coach. Gallas is arguing with the coach. Gail Clichy was falling out with the coach. Patrice Evra was losing the plot with everybody. Like, it was so pointless. He didn't even need to do it. They might as well just stayed at home, saved his trip to South Africa. But yeah, Mount, just again, we'll get back on topic. Mason Mount, he's just class, and he's just so silky and classy when he plays football. And you don't, like, nowadays you see it a bit more with English players, but typically, like, attacking English players that weren't like a Rooney or Michael Owen, like people of that standard, who they're just the best young prospect England have ever had. And for me, the best English football player of all time is Wayne Rooney. And like, Mount's got a bit of that fighter in him, but a bit of that. He's not like he's not the same kind of player, but like a Theo Walcott or a Aaron Lennon, where he's attacking, but he's got one trick. He's good with both feet. He's skillful. Today, he showed it today. He's a dream to watch on the ball, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, mate. Joe, don't even know what to say about him anymore, because I say good things about him every week, and there's just nothing new to say. He's just solid, mate. And I will say, I think he is the next. I think Chelsea captain when Dave leaves. I really do. And I did like the way Tommy Tuchel subbed off Kovacic and put him centre mid. I like that. I thought that was a good move.
Yeah. I think that's a really good thing that Tommy's been doing. He's just been making players versatile. I think that's what makes a good team good. Like you look at Man City, obviously they lost today, which that completely shocked me, losing to Leeds. But they've got versatile players. Like you think of where Riyad Mahrez has played left wing, right wing, behind the number 9, played as the number 9 sometimes. Bernardo Silva plays in the middle or on the right. De Bruyne can be anywhere from CDM to striker in that team. And like Guardiola is the best example in history of making versatile players. Like if you play for him, you've got to play multiple positions. And if Tommy can do that with us, like Cal playing different positions, Pulisic playing different positions, we've probably had 5 different people start as our number 9 since he's been in. And it's just brilliant. And like Mount, he is so good as a free roam player. He doesn't really have a position, if that makes sense, because he's a free roamer. He just goes wherever the game feels comfortable for him and where it will work out. And he just showed it again today. He picks the ball up deep. He travels with it.
Great cross to Kurt Zouma as well from the free kick.
He's an underrated set piece taker, I think. Corners, free kicks. He's got a bit something about him on it. He's that. I wouldn't put him in a category of a specialist where he is deadly every time the ball's 30 yards out. Like I'm like, oh well, Mace is going to bang this in the top corner. But like, especially like set pieces, like whipping the ball in from deep free kicks. Like he's got a few of them where he's got a bit of something about him where he can just get it in there and create stuff. Like he just creates stuff out of nothing, and it's very rare for a player his age and a player who got thrust into the limelight that quickly by Frank, like going straight from Derby to us. Like he had no respite. He had no, we'll start here, we'll start there. He's thrown straight in the team. He's the go-to, and he will be our captain. And I just think it is so unnatural for someone his age and his experience to seem so experienced and seem like a leader and a captain. Like it's just tremendous. Like it's the things he doesn't even do footballing wise, like always chatting to the boys, always getting everybody going. It makes him just seem like such a better player that he's got that in the locker at this age already. There are some players who don't pick it up until late on, and it's not worth it. They can't leave. They're not captain material. But he will be. He's the next long time Chelsea captain, homegrown talent, like a Lamps, a Terry, and Mount. Really, that's the next one. It's spot on with that.
Christian Pulisic, you impressed with him today, weren't you?
Yeah, he's by far my favourite player on the pitch. I love him to death. He does my nut in when he's whining and complaining. I can't stand it. But then I think I've thought about it the last few weeks. I've been a bit critical of like his attitude and where did he fit in the team. He's done the job, but like we've always had a bit of a whiner in the team. Like early days Drogba, like he dive in. Playing in Iron Robben. We've always had somebody like when Florent Malouda, when he had that unreal season, he was a notorious whiner. Hazard, he just whined all the time, but he bagged 15 in the league, so it doesn't really matter. Hazard, early days when he was quite young, he was a bit of a whinger, and then he grew into I'm the most fouled player in the world, so.
He almost relished that, didn't he, a bit?
Yeah, nothing's going to change. People are going to kick 7 shades of shit out of him every game. So he may as well just get on with it. Because if he moaned every time someone fouled him, he wouldn't stop moaning. So I think Pulisic is sort of just taking it as Tommy will happily drop him whenever. Like, nobody's safe. And that I think has instilled a bit of fear into the team and players like Pulisic, where he went from an unreal end to last season. He gets injured in the FA Cup final and he never really catches his form until recently. He's been searching for it. He was class last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, he had a hat-trick against these boys last year. His first hat-trick for Chelsea, I'm pretty sure, was against these lot.
Might have been Burnley. I think it was Burnley, Jeff.
Whatever.
He did score against these boys, though, exactly the same fashion as he did today. They banged it top pins with his left foot. I was impressed with him today. I just thought he struggled to get in the game a little bit compared to Mount and Havertz, but I think that's because I just thought those two were so good. But yeah, I think they're a brilliant player.
They're very commanding of the ball, and they like take the game on, and I think that's what he needs to do, because he was that guy last year when we didn't have three more players over 30 million brought in all in attacking positions in Werner, Havertz, and Ziyech. He's just got to be that. You got to just let them have the ball all the time and just take what you can get. If you get a shot in the box, make sure it fucking goes in.
I reckon he's got in the back of his. I reckon he's got in the back of his head though. Like we spoke about Cal before, when he came back from injury, he was scared of getting injured again. I think Pulisic knows that hamstrings, is an issue, and it could go again at any time. So I do think that's why we haven't seen him at his best. I think he's a bit scared to run at players like that, just in case what happened in the Arsenal game happens again. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, he's a bit, because when he come back after the FA Cup final, I feel like he was rushing himself back. He sort of knew with all these signings, like he only had a couple of chances to impress before Lamps had his team. Like, he never chopped and changed as much as Tommy does. No. He had a team. It was like Mason Mount number 1, Reece James number 2, Edouard Mendy number 3. Like, they were the first 3 names on the team sheet, and like everybody else, for the most part, was on there. And Pulisic weren't really part of the plans. But he's done well. The boy's done well. For me personally, I don't even know if we gave a rating to Mount. I don't know. I'll just give him an 8.
Yeah, I was going to say the same, so that's cool.
So, because I was just thinking about Pulisic. For me, I give Pulisic a 9.
Okay.
I think he was class. He did everything right that that was required of him. Like, I know what you mean by not getting into the game, but when he was in the game, he scored twice. Started the game impeccably well. Like, we are notorious lately for not getting the goals early on.
That second goal he scored is brilliant. He's always been good at that, sort of gambling in the box. And it's something that if Tammy Abraham had that in him, Tammy would be a brilliant striker, in my opinion. Well, not brilliant because his first touch is a bit dodgy, but that would help bail him out of that sort of first touch. Do you know what I mean? Because he would score the goals to make up for it. But yeah, Pulisic loves it.
Just on that note, if Tammy had that instinct, that it's the same as that. What's the saying? Is it Gino De Campo? If my auntie had wheels, she'd be a bike. Like, he's just never gonna have it. Like, Tammy just don't. Like, he just don't. Like, you don't need to finish a sentence. He just don't. Like, there's not there. Like, it's knocking on the door, nobody's in. Like it's the. Right, he hasn't got it. He's not a prem striker. Like, obviously, we seen the other day that Ross sent over to us about he's got the most goals for an under-23 player out of everybody, but he's got like 50 of them in the championship.
I said exactly the same thing.
So Adam Lafondra scored 30 goals in a championship season for Reading, but people don't bang on about how good he is.
Same with David Nugent is an absolute beast of a championship striker.
He was class. He was the best championship manager. He was the best player in the league every single time. He was always so good.
Came to the Premier Leicester, and then he went after here because he couldn't hack it.
Yeah, he was there with Pompey as well. He was in Pompey when they were in the Prem, and he was shy. He didn't do anything. There's loads of people that are like just notoriously great. Like Shane Long's another one. He was like, obviously being where I'm from, I've seen a lot of the Reading boys banging goals. Like, he scored like 25 goals when Reading went up that season. He's gone to like West Brom and Southampton since, and he's been fucking awful. I know he's got he's the fastest goal in the history of the Premier League. Yeah, that's what he is. He's a typical player from Cork that they will just run after the ball all the time, just chase it down. But yeah, like, I thought Pulisic was unreal. 9. I don't know what you think. I know you probably won't give him that high.
8.5. I think 8.5 for me. But yeah, I'm not surprised you gave him that rating. Substitutes, Ziyech doesn't get one, came on too late. Kante.
7 minutes he played. Fuck that.
Yeah, Kante about 6. Fair enough.
Didn't really do anything, just push shift, didn't he? As always.
Yeah, Brees.
Man in the world. He gets 10 for his smile, though. What a beautiful, beautiful soul. It cheers me up, especially when we're winning. It cheers me up just looking at him. He's just such a great mood builder, isn't he?
He actually does. Bless him, he deserves to win the Champions League. That would really sort of sum up his career if he was able to win that and the World Cup, Premier League, mate. He deserves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he deserves the world, mate.
We should just do that. To do this Champions League run just for him, mate. Really, just for him. Wait, Dave, I think, joined us the year after the Champions League as well, didn't he?
He did.
So that'd be a good one for Dave as well. Yeah. And then
I
Reece
think
James.
that would be a good,
Okay, on, mate.
good time for Dave to. It'd be a good time for Dave to potentially bow out to win the Champions League this year.
I think he's definitely got one more year in his locker, maybe even two. I honestly do.
I'd love to see him retire at blue. I would. He's the next closest in recent memory. That is like he's Chelsea. That's just all he is. Like not necessarily an unknown at Marseille when we signed him, but he was just a bloke, wasn't he? And then we got him. And now it's just like I can't think of Chelsea without him. But I still remember that first interview where Dave come from. They couldn't say his name. They were like, "Can we just call you Dave?" And yeah. So yeah, Reece James come on as well. 6. He was there.
I'm gonna give him a 7 just because he got an assist. But yeah,
he's an unreal attacking threat, isn't he? But I think he should have been rested. I was a bit skeptical about bringing him on. Like there were so many people we could have just given a run out that don't ever play.
Exactly, that's what I mean. That's why I would have liked Cal to go 90 minutes because he hadn't played for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. Overall, roundup thoughts of the game for me, it's brilliant. I thought we were good. We had the killer instinct early on that we haven't had. We held it out. I did shit myself a little bit when Benteke scored. Like not because they were threatening, but I'm just like, oh god, no. I was like, we've had a week of it already. Like the emotions have been all over the place. Please don't let them get another one now and just make me be on edge the whole time. But overall, I thought we were good.
Same,
we're back to our best.
Looking forward to Porto now.
Yeah. Which
I hope, if we play like we did last time, we weren't brilliant. I mean, we're pretty good, but we weren't, as good as we were today. But exactly, if we can just put in a solid performance on that, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. There's not much. It's 6 days between the games. Obviously, they're getting their 2 best players back in Oliveira and Taremi. I think the fella's name is the Algerian bloke.
Yeah, you're correct.
Algerian, is he Algerian?
I want to say he is as well, yeah, mate. I think you're correct now as well.
Oh, no, I could be wrong. He's Iranian. No, I think he's Iranian.
Yeah, actually, you
could
be right.
Green and red flag. I just remember it from like FIFA or something. Yeah. He's coming. They've bagged 40 goals this year between them. They didn't really have a threat going forward last game, so
they weren't bad last game. To be fair to them, though.
That Marega was dog shit though. He was fucking he just didn't know where he was. Like every time he got in the box, he looked like Kurt Zuma when he's in the box. Just booting the ground. Like
Kurt Zuma when he went on that run against Ajax where he dribbled past 3 players. He's like, surely not. Here goes Rose.
Yeah, that Marega was shite. So if Taremi's coming back, Marega's got to come out. Surely he was pocketed all game. Dave was all over him, and he's a big U, and Dave is not. And he just had him. He had him on toast all game. Yeah. I'm confident though. I'm looking forward to it. I think personally, we're going to see a few issues arise with their older players being a bit more fatigued. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, Pepe, unreal. Probably been one of the best players in the knockout stages of the Champions League. Probably the whole of the Champions League. They hadn't conceded a goal in 6 games.
Yeah. It was 7. Yeah, it was something like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
And I think personally, they'll feel a bit of fatigue. They've had a game this week. I think they've got a game tomorrow night. I think most of course play Sunday nights. They've 2 Champions League games in 6 days. We've had 2-week gaps more often than not in the other rounds. I think they could be susceptible to a bit of fatigue, much like we are today by the looks of it. You're as tired as I am.
Yeah, mate. I'll tell you what, though. It could. I'm not worried. It could work to. This could be a game for Timo Werner. And not to start. I reckon we keep him on the bench. I'll go for Pulisic again and Mount, but I'd swap Havertz for Giroud. I think Giroud's experience against Pepe will be crucial. But then if we bring on Timo 65th minute if it's still 2-0 and they're pushing, even if it's 2-1 and they're pushing for this, another goal to take it to extra time. Mate, Timo's going to have so much space in behind to run into, and that's really, if you got a couple of goals there, it's confidence back.
That's how Torres got that goal against Barca. He just had the energy and he was gone. Yeah. He threw everyone forward and he made the most of it. Fuck it, mate. Throw Ben Chilwell up front. He had the keeper all over the place in the last game. So just sling him up front if you
Well,
play like
I
that.
think the following year actually was Torres' best year for us after that Champions League win, didn't he? He scored like 20 odd goals.
Yeah, he was very good in the Europa League as well.
Yeah,
that was the year we won the Europa League right after against Benfica.
Yeah, mate. Yeah,
Big Brana with a header,
mate. Yeah, mate. That's just a brilliant goal, isn't it? Bless him. Good old Juan Mata with another superb corner in another European final, and it's what the dreams are made for. That's going to be Mason Mount in the final against Man City. Mason Mount clipping in, big Kurt, doink.
Oh, imagine the absolute scenes. Oh, that's the ideal outcome. Is us getting to the Champions League final, playing Man City and winning 2-0, and Kurt Zuma and Tammy Abraham scored. Your head would fucking explode. Mate, Tammy Abraham literally just morphs into Drogba and hits one near post.
Oh my God. I think that's a perfect way to sort of sign off the episode, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tammy Abraham, so cheers for listening, guys. If you want to vote for our True Blue of the Month, that's currently live on our Instagram story. Link will be down below. It's between Tony Rudiger and N'Golo Kante. Anything you want to add, Kieran, before we go?
No, just make sure to follow us on all the socials and keep up to date with stuff. And any feedback is obviously welcomed for anything we can develop and do moving forward. And we'll see you boys on Tuesday night.
Yeah, although we might be working. Unfortunately, furlough comes to an end for us, or me certainly.
Yeah.
So I'm working Tuesday.
I'm working from home, mate.
Yeah,
working from home. I'll be going down the pub on Monday, but I think Tuesday is going to be a day at home with a few beers, watch the game, get on the big telly downstairs.
Yeah, we look forward to it.
I've got the week off. I've got the week working, but I finish at 5, so I'm sound. I can go watch all the football in the world. So we'll see what we can do. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. And adios, everyone, I guess.
Yeah, to the pip, guys.